April 17th. And am I ever psyched? Am I ever psyched? I am going to be interviewed on the after party today, if all goes according to plan. And that, friends, is very exciting. So I'm working to get that figured out. Let's see what these birds are here. What do you think they are? Kind of like they're in the duck family. More like freshwater birds that are visiting the ocean, huh? Look how many there are. So beautiful. God is so glorious. Speaking of God and gods, I am really enjoying and savoring my reading of Prometheus Rising. Thank you, Jason. When you set out to create a story for our people, you don't fool around. This story helps me see better how much you know. You know a lot more than you talk about in your live streams for the public. You actually get it when it comes to what the nature of the psychology is for anti-whites, and how hard that is for us, because we're just not that way. We're just not that way. And since we're not that way, it's hard for us to imagine that they could be that way. That they could be the way they are, that they could be living in that kind of an ugly, oh, but it reminds me, I made a little clip from TAP where John Bruce Leonard said, don't say like, don't use this vague language, don't use imprecise language. So, how to be precise, to realize the lack of care and empathy and desire to treat others fairly, that seems to be this characteristic of the anti-white psychology. It's actually a desire to inflict harm. And I wouldn't believe it. It just doesn't, it never fit my my nature. I couldn't imagine that people could be like that. But then I actually had real life experiences where I got to have extended interactions and deep conversations about philosophy and the nature of being with people that I would say, in my judgment, had that psychology, that they really, and they believed, not only did they have that psychology, but they projected that as everybody's psychology. So they were unwilling to accept my nature as a Westman as real. They believed I was making it up or lying to not be of the same cold, win-lose, calculating nature as they are. as they were, and as they told me proudly that they were, and they assured me that everyone was like that. And then they gave me years of experience with them, proving that that's how they lived, demonstrating it over and over and over again at every choice point, trying to produce a loss for the other, just finding win-win situations, which I'm always seeking the win-win situation in all my interactions if possible. And now I'm struggling with how to incorporate my win-win, what I would call Western-kind morality, into a world where I know now that morality works great when I'm with people who share it. But I'm really struggling with how do I use it, how do I adapt it for when people demonstrate that they don't share it, that they're playing a win-lose game and they're trying to win but make sure I lose. In some ways they're more interested in they'll settle for they were playing a win-lose game, but they'll settle for a just you-lose game, even where they don't really win. And to me that is just sick, and I don't even want to share a planet with people who are playing that game. But I do share a planet with people who are playing that game, and I need to figure out how to adapt my behavior and my morality to still help create a culture of our biospirit that people like us can live in and know, and have that not be victimized by this people with this what I'd call an exploitative culture, an exploitative morality. And I think you've figured it out, and you're trying to tell me, and I'm slowly picking it up by reading what you've written. I think I'm getting a window into it from reading Prometheus Rising. And I think I pick it up from your streams where you answer different questions, giving different angles on things. So I'm confident you know it, and I'm confident that I will learn it. And that's something else I want to thank you for, is the long streams. They help give, it works with the same thing that you're aware of with the subconscious, that things go into our subconscious, they need a lot of repetition, and repeating them helps etch them into the subconscious, and then the ideas can be installed down there where they're really needed, rather than just installed in the conscious mind, which is so slow. We need them down there, kind of on the metal, you could call it, on the metal of the machinery that really executes our life. So thank you, Jason. I don't imagine you actually have time to listen to this stuff, and I don't want to waste your time, but I thought it seems like you really tune into what has, with your empirical, what do you call it, Aristotelian kind of science, verifying what works. Maybe you would want to see feedback like this, and I don't know how you could improve your technique, but maybe to get something out of it. I'm sure getting a lot out of your dedication and the quality of what you have figured out, and I just can't thank you enough. And I'm working my way very slowly through Prometheus Rising because I don't want it to end. Thank you, brother.